My name is Gail Shuck. Hi. Flexible assessment in the age of anxiety is what my talk is about today. My goals here are to describe and illustrate two useful and adaptable assessment strategies, but especially to urge you to offer options wherever possible for students to show you what they've learned. So I am certain that all of you are familiar with the rise of anxiety and depression among our students that has predated the pandemic. It's just gotten worse with the pandemic. The two assignment options that I'm going to share with you were initially my responses to highly capable students who were just struggling to turn anything in. Whatever the barriers, from eviction, which happened, to debilitating perfectionism, which was rampant, students were having trouble clearing them. So simply, these are two assessment alternatives that I usually have students write papers, but this is fairly simple. One of those is, how about recording a PowerPoint where you record the voiceover narration for each slide? Simple enough. The other one I developed only recently, and I just love it. I have students arrange with a classmate a time for a Zoom meeting. They record the Zoom meeting, and all they do is bring notes and talk about the data that they are supposed to be analyzing. And they collectively analyze it. This is not rocket science. These are not specifically extremely innovative things. But I also know that as much as I want to help students develop their writing, that is in fact my academic specialty. I know that writing is not the only way for students to demonstrate learning. All right. So here's an example of one slide from one student's presentation on social identity in the language classroom. The classroom was on first and second language acquisition. And it is not a coincidence that I have chosen a slide that, as you see, has the word trauma on it, because we did talk a lot about trauma-informed teaching that semester, and it clearly had an impact on this student. She didn't have to include that in her presentation, but it also has entrenched in me this resolve for giving students options, because we don't always know when our students have experienced trauma. Much less polished and less organized was this one. These two students, I must tell you, gave me permission to use this particular image with its goofy thumbs up and its terrible lighting. But I wasn't after a professional presentation. I wanted a really quality analysis of bilingual and trilingual data that we all had access to. And these students took me up on the option to just record their conversation about it. I got what I wanted, a co-constructed, in-depth analysis. What this reminded me, this kind of option reminded me, was not just how intellectual sparks can fly when students are learning together, but also when they are demonstrating their learning together. Okay, this was similar. Two moms, it turns out, they both have the same running joke with their children, who are all teenagers or pre-teenagers, where one person starts, "Your mom," often as a reply to "your face." So it turns out I do this with my child as well. And what they did was they co-created this analysis that included race, social function, pragmatic function, and linguistic forms. His connection between the historical context and current language use. And what's more, they amplified each other's really great points, and they expanded on each other's goals, coming up with a sum that was more than, a whole that was more than the sum of the parts. As you can tell, this is all about universal design for learning, where people have multiple means of expressing what they've learned. I heard the beep. And the main key here is that students, when they have a choice, they take ownership over their choices, and it removes barriers from them that we didn't even know were there. Thank you.